Hi guys. Well, I wanted to take a few minutes to go over your last kind of big assignment before your presentations and the end of the class. So, what I wanted to talk to you today about today was your synthesis tables and how those should look. These are a little overwhelming because there's 15 spots here. You're only going to use 4. And this first one, super duper easy. All you do is look at your first article, and if it's a systematic review or meta-analysis, you put an X in this box, and then in your legend you put number 1, and then you just put Callaway 2015, if it was a systematic review that I did in 2015. So just like your first author's name and the date, just so I can look and say, oh yeah, that's the author, and that is their systematic review. So this one should be easy. You've already identified the levels. You just put the X's in there. It'll take you like 5 minutes. This next table is the one that's a little bit more complicated. It's not hard. It's just maybe a little bit harder to wrap your mind around. So based on your PICO question, you're going to look at the outcomes that you had identified in these in these articles. And so I'm going to show you like a sample one and what this looks like. So if you'll look, I know this looks really confusing, but here are the outcomes that you're looking at. So your outcomes, if you remember, are your dependent variables. So what you just identify the dependent variables in your PICO question that you were asking, and you list them down the side here. And again, you're only going to have 4 in yours. So you're only going to use through this 4th line. All this over here at the end, don't worry about that. Just these 4. So your first one, and this one's looking at hospital-wide mortality rates. So in Article 1, which is this one here, Chan and others in 2010, the adult hospital-wide mortality rate did not change, but the pediatric hospital-wide mortality rate decreased. The code rates outside of the ICU were not evaluated. The code rates within the ICU went down for both pediatrics and adults. And this is asking in relation to a rapid response team. So I should have said that to begin with. Back when we were talking about the rapid critical appraisal, theirs were code rates in response to having a rapid response team. So they're independent variables, the rapid response team in every study. And then this last one is unplanned ICU admissions, and that was not evaluated in this article. So Article 2, if you look at it, it probably wasn't a great article to address this issue because it showed that the rapid response team didn't do anything for hospital-wide mortality rates, and then it was not evaluated in the other 3. So they don't get a whole lot from that one. And so you can just go on looking at it. So this is a really good way to give yourself kind of a pictorial view. And with you just having 4 articles, it may be a little harder to get. But if you look at this, where there's 15 here, you can see probably code rates outside of the hospital, or outside of the ICU, are the most significantly decreased based on these studies by a rapid response team. Actually, unplanned ICU admissions in this one article, they went up. That would be one I would pull out and go, how did they do their study? Is this accurate? Is this not? So this just kind of gives you a way to step back from your research and reading all these numbers and data, and you're like, what the heck? We've kind of, appraised it and broken it down into smaller chunks, and now we're putting it into like a pictorial view where you can just look at it and see what you're looking at. So the reason we're taking 2 weeks for this project is because of this outcomes table, because it's going to take a little bit more thought. It should be easier since you've done your critical appraisal and your evaluation table. but I wanted you to have plenty of time to get this right because that's what you're going to be reporting on in your presentation. So we'll go back to the blank one, the template, and at the end of those 2 tables, then you're going to have just a little written summary. It's talking about your PICO question, what's the answer to it, and how would you find your data. Based on best practice, what's the best solution for it? How does the evidence work to prove that? How did you determine what best practice was? Those kind of things. So this doesn't have to be a super long paper. It's just a summary of what you found from your synthesis table and why what you say is best practice is best practice. All right, so that is all for the synthesis table, and that will be weeks 12 and 13. So the only things that we'll have left after this is your presentations, and then finals week we'll do your peer review, and you'll have a final self-reflection due. So you guys are in the short rows. So anyway, I'll leave this here. Again, this can be submitted to me early, especially that second outcomes table. We'll go over that maybe a few times with each of you guys and make sure that we have that right. But I'll be happy to look at these. Please send them to me for review by the first draft due dates, and then you'll upload them to Blackboard when they're completed. Thank you.